The UK is in for an unusually windy spell of weather over the next 12 to 24 hours. Storm Hector is about to arrive. Now, the worst of the conditions will be through tomorrow morning. The storm arrives tonight and we're really looking across northern Britain, with much of the south just having a bit of a windy spell. Across the north, we're talking gusts of 50, 60 and possibly in places 70 miles an hour. Hard to believe there's a storm on the way, with many places having fine conditions through Wednesday, but the cloud is already gathering in the northwest, and it's this massive cloud brewing out in the Atlantic that is Storm Hector forming. It's an area of low pressure. It doesn't look too scary at this stage, but it will be intensifying. Over the next 12 hours, that storm really developing and the isobars really squeezing together as the storm approaches the UK. Now, where the isobars are closest, that's where the strongest winds will be. And that's likely to be across the west coast of Ireland through the early hours, which is why Met Éireann have named this storm. But there will be likely impacts across the UK as well, especially, again, through the early hours across Northern Ireland. We will get those gusts of 50 to 60 miles an hour, and maybe along the north coast of Northern Ireland, gusts of 70 miles an hour. Then, as we go through the early hours and towards the morning rush hour, the problems are likely to move across into northern England and especially Scotland, with potential for those winds to funnel through the central belt of Scotland. Again, travel disruption should be expected. Bridges will be closed. There'll be cancellations to ferry services. Steadily, as we go through the course of the morning, the winds will perhaps start to ease from the west, and so that by the time we get to the middle of the afternoon, the worst of the conditions are likely to be over. But, as I said, we are expecting some problems. Now, as I said at the start, this is unusual, but it's not actually that exceptional. We have seen winds of this kind of strength in June before. But what is exceptional is perhaps the fact that we've had such a fine and settled spell of weather in western Scotland recently. So this is going to come as a bit of a shock. And of course, strong winds in June bring a slightly different problem to strong winds in November. There's likely to be a lot of garden furniture around. So one thing you can do is to secure that down before it gets blown around. Travel disruption, as I said, should be expected. So keep up to date, particularly if we head out of the door through the course of the morning. Best way to keep up to date is, of course, to keep up to date with the Met Office, download our app or follow us on social media.